Hello and welcome to today's episode of Dichotomy. So, I thought I might do something different today and introduce you to a coaching conversation I had recently with a client. Now, to protect the privacy of the client, you'll see that I'm speaking to an avatar of her. Please forgive me for that. I'm not big on AI generated imagery, but I thought in this situation was possibly the best and allows her to get on with her life without having to have anyone ask her about the voices in her head. Anywho, without any further ado, let's get into today's coaching session.
I've noticed lately that I'm really hard on myself, like the things I say to myself in my head. I would never say them to anyone else, but I can't seem to stop. I'm not sure why I do this.
Okay, so you've said the voices in your head are pretty harsh and that you wouldn't speak to someone else like that. So, effectively, if you wouldn't speak to your best friend that way or someone at work, how is it that you're letting this voice speak to you in that way without holding it to account?
I know it sounds weird, doesn't it? I certainly wouldn't speak to someone else like that. In fact, I'd probably tell them they're being too hard on themselves, that they're doing their best, that one mistake doesn't define them. But for me, it's like I don't even think about it. The harsh voice just shows up and I believe it. I'm not sure how to stop believing it.
Would you say that this voice is a recent thing or has it been around for a while?
God, it's been there forever. I mean, I can remember being a kid and thinking I wasn't good enough, that I had to be perfect, or I'd disappoint people. It's just always been there, like background noise that never stops. But lately it's gotten louder, especially at work. Every time I have to present something or lead a meeting, there it is. Who do you think you are? They're going to see right through you. And other words like that.
Okay. So, longer term patterns like this are often a result of the programs that we've developed in order to keep us safe in the past. So, think back to childhood, for instance. As we're growing and learning, we develop coping mechanisms, we develop thought processes and ways of, I guess, keeping us safe, understanding the world around us, and interacting with those in close proximity to us. These are very natural defense mechanisms that is literally there to support you. Now, back in the day when they were first developed, when you were quite small, they probably would have worked fine. They would have been, that little voice would have said, "Don't put your hand on that hot plate. It'll burn you." And it would have been right. Or, you're not ready to get on that skateboard because you don't know how to ride a skateboard. And again, it was probably right. So the mechanism behind it is about protection. So it's not wrong that the voice is there. It's a very human part of us. The inner critic is designed to look after us by alerting us to things. But as I said, you've evolved and your inner critic hasn't. So we're going to look, if it's okay with you, of course, at how we can take inner critic version 1 and upgrade it to inner critic version 2 that stops derailing you and starts enabling you in the things you want to do. Okay?
Yes, I'm okay with that. I want to find a way to sort this out, so as it's becoming such a negative pressure on my self-worth. I know I need to do something about it, and that makes sense. I'm still not sure how, but I'll try anything.
Now, while I can sit here and say it's quite easy to upgrade from version 1 to version 2, about 95% of the things we do in our mental processing are actually automatic. We aren't consciously making these decisions or choosing these behaviors. They're programmed into us through habit, conditioning, or the other ways that our brain likes to organize information. So while it's problematic for you right now, please know it's not your fault. Okay. It can be resolved. And it's simply a case of us looking at how we can upgrade the process within your mind so that it helps you rather than hold you back. So, like upgrading your computer, putting a larger hard drive in, increasing the RAM, whatever analogy you'd like to use, it's just the mechanics of the system that needs tweak. The system itself is not broken. You are not broken. You are not in any way, shape, or form a dysfunctional human being. You are actually perfectly normal, okay?
Okay, that actually makes me feel a bit better. Like I'm not broken. It's just outdated software within me or something. But here's what I don't get. If 95% of what we think is automatic, and I'm not consciously choosing these thoughts, how do I change something I'm not even in control of? Like, I can't just decide to think differently if my brain is running on autopilot, can I?
Okay, I can see where the questions are coming from, and I love to see someone thinking about these things and not taking it literally on face value. Becoming aware of a pattern is actually the first step to resolving it. How can we fix something that we don't know is there or that we refuse to see in light of what it actually is? So some people will say, yes, that voice is there and it controls me and that's it. Okay, so you've already said, I see that voice is there, it controls me and I don't like it and I want to change it. Excellent. We have an awareness already and a desire to change the rules of the game. So once we start to see the pattern, we can start to make the conscious choices about how we're going to respond to it and how we're going to help reprogram it into being supportive for us.
Ah, right. So noticing it is actually the beginning of changing it. That makes sense. But how do I actually do that? Because right now, it just feels like the voice is me. Like, I don't know where I end, and the critic begins. How do I go past noticing it happening, as I can do that now, and change the impact it is having?
So, first things first, let's separate you from the hypercritic within. You are not that voice. This is a program running within your mind in the same way that the voice at the supermarket, those automated cash registers where they talk at you and tell you to pack your groceries away. And you're like, I know how to buy my groceries. I've been doing it for 30, 40 years already. But the machine will sit there because it's programmed that way to give you instructions as if it's the first time you've ever bought groceries. So we're going to think of it in that light. We're going to stop the script that keeps running in your head. It is part of you, but it is not all of you. In the same way that your children are part of you, they're your blood, your DNA, you're connected to them. But can you be held accountable for their thoughts, their words, their actions at all times? No. So the mind is part of you in the same way, but it is not something you have full control over because it is programmed to support you, to protect you, to keep you out of harm's way. And that's an element that it will operate in its own regard unless it's given different data inputs to change the way in which it makes decisions. And this is what we're going to sort of look at is those inputs, those data points that you will give it as a part of your interactions with it. I'd like you to look at it on the basis that we are going to help your inner critic grow up, learn, and evolve with you. Okay? So, firstly, here's something I'd like you to do. I'd like you to give your inner critic a name.
A name? Okay. This feels a bit weird, but I guess I'd call it the judge, because that's what it does. It just sits there judging everything I do, everything I say, waiting for me to mess up so it can say, see, I told you so. But if I give it a name, doesn't that make it more real? Or is that the point? Am I supposed to see it as separate from me?
Hi, Di here. So sorry to interrupt. Now, I've just come across a small rookie mistake, and that is that, well, videos this length can't be edited in one go. So we're going to move it to a two-part video. We hope you come back to see how Becky resolves her blocks next week and look forward to seeing you on the channel sometime soon. Take care and all the best.